Okay, we are gonna go live any moment now. Prepare everything ready. And here we are. Hello, everyone. How you doing this evening? We are on a live show tonight, and we're gonna learn so much about so many things. Let me just get ready with the yeah. Okay. Here we are. So okay, hello everyone. Tonight it's May 17th and Friday night, Friday evening, end of the week. It's been a very long week for me. You have no idea. But the only reason for that is simply because 2 weeks before that I was on a holiday. And for that reason, sometimes when you are on a holidays, you just relax so much that at the end of the week when you go back to work, it's a little bit harder, to make the machine roll again. But anyway, here we are back in motion and back with our lesson of English lesson. Okay. Um, it's been really hard for me to decide what this topic is going to be. Last week we have one about Mother's Day. The week before that we have a Star Wars Day, and I didn't get the chance to speak about it. And I think it's a really important day we should mention because Star Wars has been such an iconic movie over decades now, started back in the 70s and is still sounding strong up until today. And you might be wondering why the 4th of May is considered Star Wars Day. Now, this is go again back into the beginning of the 80s. No, back at the 79, if I'm not mistaken, was the year where UK Prime Minister Margaret Thatcher became the first female prime minister. Now, she was she took over her position on the 4th of May. I explained this before, and every time I do, I always find a little bit of trouble to say it because um so since she was taking place the 4th of May, people will say, May the 4th be with you. In a way of, I hope the 4th of May was the best thing for you, be with you, so you can have a good first day taking power, taking control over the Great Britain as a prime minister. Now, for those who are Star Wars fan, they know that the main sentence we hear on the first, well, in nearly all the movies is, may the force be with you. May the force be with you. As in the mental power those Jedi's have be with you for you to get where you want to be. So this is, you see, you can already see the how English people, American people, British culture in general do these things all the time. They connect words together to make it sound, you know, amusing in a way. So it just got this coincidence that the 4th of May, Margaret Thatcher took over as a prime minister, and the sentence was May the 4th. Four, not four, fourth, th, because when it comes to date, we don't say 5th of May, 10th of May, 20th of May. We say 5th, 10th, and 20th. In my case, for example, I was not born the 22nd of I was not born the 22nd of July. I was born the 22nd of July. So when it comes to dates, we don't use the actual number, but we use ordinary numbers, if I'm not mistaken. Ordinary, cardinal, I always get confused between one of those. But I think you get the idea of what I'm trying to explain here. It's not 4th of May, but May the 4th. Can you type down on the comments your birthday so we make sure that you know? Oh, well, it doesn't have to be your birthday, but it could be any important date that you consider as important so we know whether you got this message right. The difference between fifth and five, seven and seventh, nine and ninth. Yeah. So since we have May the 4th be with you, as well as Star Wars is May the Force be with you. Fans decide to get those two dates together and decide from that day and on up until this year, and it would probably be forever, that the 4th of May is Star Wars Day. So, yeah, I guess we're clear on that. And now we're going to go to the main topic today. Today, I want to speak about a very sensitive topic, something that it might get us a bit uncomfortable because it's not an easy thing to bring about. Yeah, people usually don't really like talking about this, but I believe it's something that we should talk about even more because addictions is something that somehow is, I believe, destroying our society, is pushing us to a corner we don't want to be. It makes our life easier. It costs us money. It destroys families in so many levels that we're going to see today. So let me just move the phone here because it's kind of in the way of the computer and the presentation. Oh, oh boy, this is tricky one. Okay, we're good. We're good. Yeah, okay, we go. I'm gonna share the screen with you now, and I'm going to show you our presentation. Yes, here we go. Addictions, yeah. Addictions can manifest in various forms and can affect individuals differently. Here are some of the most common types of addictions people face nowadays. The most common type of addiction people face, yeah. Say that. Yeah. Come on. What is that? Pictures you see? Yeah. Substance abuse addiction, including drugs such as alcohol, cocaine, marijuana, and prescription medications. Yeah. Number two, nicotine addiction. Nicotine addiction, tobacco products like cigarettes, cigars, or even those vaping device. People tend to think that a vaping device is not as bad as a regular cigarette, but guess what? Yes, you guessed it right. It still does have nicotine and it still does affect your body. And yes, it does affect your pocket and you don't need it. Continue. Can you guess by the image what that is? Sure you have. Internet technology addiction, obsessive use to the internet, social media, gaming, or smartphones, leading to neglect of real life responsibilities and relationship. I have a friend who works online nearly every day, and he tells me that before he goes to bed every night, he tends to read a book to clean himself off all this internet media lifestyle, something that you should consider. Have you ever measured the difference, the amount of time you spend in front of a computer or in front of a digital device and versus the time you spend in front of the book? I think it's something we should consider. Next. Yes, you guessed it right. Pornography addiction, compulsive viewing of pornography that interferes with daily functioning and relationships. Yes, believe it or not, it does affect relationship and it's something that you should at least have a control of and not let it control you. Food addiction, overeating of binge eating, often associated with certain types of food that trigger pleasure responses in the brain. Yeah. See, the thing about food is that it's a combination of something that your body needs merged with pleasure. So when you put those two together, it can be brain misleading thing, making you think that is something that you really have to have more and more of. Guess what? You don't. So it is important for you to learn about calories and make a balance between the calories that you take every day versus the calories you burn every day. So I'm asking you right now, how many hours or how many minutes you walk every day? How many bicycle rides you do every day? How many walks or how many runs or spin off or whatever you do every day in order to compensate the amount of calorie you take every day. I leave that to you. Next, shopping addiction. How many of you are addicted to shopping? Compulsive shopping or spending money beyond one's means often resulting in financial difficulty. Of course, shopping is expensive. The more you buy, the more you want to buy, and more often than not, we end up buying things we don't need. So I think it's important that if you notice that you have a tendency to shop a little bit too much than what you should, take measures, take count, compare yourself to other people and see how much are you taking because it might be a little bit too much from what you should be taking. Gambling addictions. How many of you are be into gambling? I gotta tell you, I have a friend of mine. I have so many friends in my life. Yeah, I had a friend of mine working in a casino. This is a few years back, and she was saying that because she got to know people in casino and the customers so good, sometimes people who were going to casino, they will spend all of their money in one night, including their money they have allocated for transportation back home, because a lot of the times these casinos involve alcohol, and when you are drinking, we know you're not allowed to drive, so people go to the casino by taxis or Uber or whatever means and on the way back they find themselves absolutely empty pocket, and they end up walking out of the casino looking for a cheaper transportation to get back home or even hitchhike. So think about it, how sad and confusing and terrible that sounds. Also, casinos are designed for you to not realize how much time is going, so sometimes you end up yourself late night, middle of god knows when, empty pocket, not knowing how to go home. So yes, this is something that you really, really should. If you have somebody, if you have that problem, or if you know somebody in your family with that problem, you should find a way to help them. Compulsive gambling behavior that leads to financial problems and interferes with daily life. Absolutely. Next, workaholism. Okay, why do we work? Yes, of course we work for money. Why do we need the money to live, right? Of course we do. But some people, believe it or not, they get addicted to work. So they just work, work, work. And when you do that, you leave behind your family life, you leave behind yourself and everything around you. So this can be very damaging for yourself, for your health, and for the ones around you. Obsessive overwork or workaholic behavior leading to neglect of personal relationships and self care. Next, exercise addiction. Yeah, some people, going to the gym is healthy and is good, no doubt about it. But doing it too much, just like everything else, whatever you do too much it will end up being bad for you. It will make you feel terrible. No excessive life is good. Obsessive and compulsive exercise habits that may result in physical injury or neglect of other aspects of life. Yeah, absolutely, man. You want to be strong? Good for you. You want to work out? Good for you. But don't do too much of it. Take your time for yourself too. Check this out. Love relationship addiction. This is what happens when you are strong dependency on romantic relationships or the feeling of being loved, often leading to dysfunctional relationships. So you see, when you get yourself into a relationship, that's good. When you have a couple, a meaning other, you better have or your other half, that is great. But the moment you feel that you depend on that person or that person depends on you, that's what you should think about or rethink about this relationship or try to find the ways, as well as we're having your couple life, you should also learn to have your own private space, your own private life, if you're not married, of course. Social media addiction is something very common these days. Compulsive use of social media platform for validation, comparison, or to escape from real life problems. You see, people tend to use online media so much these days that it's getting addiction. It's getting you addicted and it's screwing your brain cells, your power, your energy. What do you see when you go to social media? A lot of the time, you see people that are not even real. I mean, sure, they are real people. These people, you know them, but more often than not, they only post the good things. So if you have someone posting good things on life, how do you feel about yourself? Not so good, right? Yes, well, guess what? Everybody has good moments and bad moments in life. So doing social media can be good because you can stay informed. You, it's a good tool to know what's going on, but also it's a good way to really to see fake news and to get the wrong idea of reality. So what will advise at in that matter? If you get some news, verify the information before you believe it, and even more before you share it, because you could share the wrong information and you can end up being accused for something that you're not even guilty of. Next, we are having video game addiction. Okay, how many of us have ever have this problem? Particularly, I'm not. I'm from a generation where video games was never really in my life, but a lot of people they they get so much into video games and they spend so much time in video games and they don't really see past that. They want to stay in front of the computer or in front of that TV playing video games, neglecting people's and friends and other people's life. They interact online all the time and they never go out in the real world. And that, my friend, is not good. It's really not good. Playing video games is okay. Reading a book is even better. So if you're gonna play video game for 1 hour, set a time. You can set the time. Okay, I'm playing too much now. I'm going to play 1 hour every day or 1.5 hour every day. You stick to that time, you respect that time, and when time is up, you cut the game and you go out in the world and do something else with your time. Excessive and compulsive gaming behavior that interferes with daily functioning relationship and responsibilities. Yes, that is something that I forgot of. People who spend too much time online playing video games, they even forget how to interact with other people. They don't know how to socialize. So, yes, something for you to consider. Hey, Caro, I can see you there. How are you? Next, another very common addiction in this world is called prescription medication. Yeah. Dependency on prescription medications, often or benzodiazepines, either prescribed or obtained illicitly. Yeah. So a lot of the time, I'm very good, Carol. Very good. Thank you. Today we're having a episode on addictions. Yeah, because there are so many in the world, and people are not fully aware of how how badly they can be. Um, if you wish to join us, I'm having a Zoom right now, so we can talk. If you are up for it, or if you want to join this Instagram, we can do that too. And if you just want to stay there, same thing, you know. So, prescription. Uh, some people they might get ill sometimes, and when they do, the doctors might give them some tablets to take on a regular basis. And when they take the tablet, they feel good about themselves. And then after a while, the tablet's finished and they want more and more. And before you realize this, you become absolutely dependent on that pill. And if you don't have that pill, you start getting stressed, you start having problems to sleep, and so many other second effects that you don't want to have. So if you think you're taking medicines a little too much, find a way, find help, talk to people, and do something about it because that is not a good habit. It will damage your stomach, it will damage your system, and it can have terrible consequences in the future. Next. Oh, okay. So we are getting to the end of this life, and I have a picture for you, Carol. Look, have a look. Can you see it there? Yeah, that is a rat. And the reason why I put the rat is because I want to remember um the rat experiment. There was an experiment they done back in the 70s when they put a rat with normal water and cocaine water. And the rat end up getting addicted to the cocaine water. So they assumed that because the rat was in an environment where they can get the cocaine, they would end up getting addicted. But then some professor, Alexander something, I forgot the name now, he thought, what if we try this in a different approach? And he took the rat and he put it in what it would be understood as a paradise for rats, a place with many other rats where they can play, where they can get food, where they can get so many things to do, as well as the normal water and the cocaine water. Turns out that in every example they used this, the water did not take the cocaine water. The water, the rats end up drinking the normal water and having fun with their friends and having food and having a normal life. Now, you can say that, well, this is rats, they're extremely different to humans. We have nothing to do with them. We are different. Sure enough, but what happened is that we have an experiment on people who goes to, if somebody break their legs and they go into surgery, they give them heroin. And the the clinical heroin is not like the one people find in the street, because the one in the street is probably been mixed to make it more, to sell more, to make more money. But the one they have in the clinic is pure, and they apply this on people for a certain amount of time until they get recovered. And then by the time they get recovered, they go back home, and guess what? You will think that, oh, because this guy was taking the best heroin in the planet in the hospital, is going to become a junkie, but they don't. They just go back to a normal life as long as they are associated with a normal, healthy environment of family and friends and people around them. So, yes, addictions are bad, but the best way to treat them, if you have somebody in your family who happen to have an addiction problem, the best you can do is to spend time with them, to call them, to be with them, ask them how you feeling, ask them how are you, what can I do for you, make them feel love and make them feel united, because isolation is the worst thing you can do for someone who have addiction problem of any sort, you know. Each of these addictions can have a serious consequences for individuals and their loved ones, affecting their physical health, mental well-being, and overall quality of life. Treatment often involves a combination of therapy, support groups, medication, and available. Ladies and gentlemen, this was our presentation for today for our YouTube channel and our Instagram. I'll go back to you, Caro, in a moment. I'm gonna kill this off. Thank you for your time, and I'll be seeing you hopefully